Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm so sorry for the delay on videos, guys. College has officially started back up again, which means that my upload and streaming schedules are going to be going through some changes. I'm still getting things figured out, but I'll let you all know when to expect streams and videos at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Finally, my audio setup is a little bit janky right now, so if the audio sounds a bit worse than normal or you hear a little bit of background noise, I'm very sorry about that. Just please bear with me for this video, it should be better next time. But enough with the boring intro stuff. Let's talk about ammo. Today we're going to be talking about all things ammunition, which means types of ammo, crafting ammo, the gunsmithing skill, and... actually, I think that's pretty much it. Well, anyway, I've got a class at 9 in the morning tomorrow, so let's not waste any time and just get right into it. First things first, let's talk about our types of ammo. The typical types of ammo that you're going to find across Great Bear are revolver and rifle rounds. There are three main ways that you will stumble into ammunition. In ammo boxes, which will have a decent amount of ammo in them, loosely scattered around the world, whether that be in searchable containers or just sitting around the terrain, and finally, inside of guns that you find. The last one is especially important to take note of. When looting, you should click on any firearm that you find, even if you already have one, and then check the weight of the gun. The revolver's default weight is 1.5 kilograms, and the rifle's default weight is 4 kilograms. If the weight of the firearm is greater than its default, that means that there are rounds inside of it. If that happens, you want to pick up the firearm, go to actions, and then unload the gun to gather the rounds. Then you can drop it on the floor once again and keep going. And that's pretty much it when it comes to finding ammunition while looting. But before we move on to talk about how to craft new ammunition for yourself, I do want to quickly mention distress pistol flares. These are technically considered ammo, but unlike the other ammunition types in the game, they cannot be crafted. So make sure that you use them carefully, because once you're out, that's it. The only way to get more after that is from trading. Alrighty, you now know the different types of ammo and how to find them. So let's now talk about how to create your own ammo. Before we go over all the logistics, let's figure out where we need to be to begin crafting. New ammunition can only be crafted at an ammunition workbench, of which there are only 2 on the entirety of Great Bear Island. One in the Bleak Inlet Cannery, and one in Black Rock Penitentiary. To access both of these locations, you'll need to undergo a small side quest to find the code that allows you to enter the area with the ammo bench. In Bleak Inlet, you'll need to go to the weather relay station on the upper plateau of the region to find the code to the cannery. In Black Rock, you'll need to venture out to the abandoned coal mine and find your way through until you find the note at the end of the mine. After that, you can make your way to the penitentiary and then enter the code into the keypad by this locked door during an aurora. Both of these ammo workbenches also share their space with the only milling machines on Great Bear, but unlike milling machines, ammunition workbenches do not need an aurora to be active in order to function. The ammo bench has 2 parts, the workbench and the forge. You can do almost anything ammo crafting related without the forge being lit. The only thing that does require a forge to be lit is when you're casting new bullets. But, unlike the forge, the ammunition forge doesn't have to be raised to 150 degrees Celsius to be used for crafting, and it will function normally regardless of the temperature of the fire that's lit. The last thing to mention about the ammunition workbenches themselves is that you won't be able to do any crafting that you typically could at a forge or workbench here. The ammo bench is only capable of doing crafting that is specifically related to crafting ammo and noisemakers. Alright, so you now know the where, so let's talk about the how in this sausage making process. To craft ammunition, you're going to need 3 ingredients: 0.01 kilograms of gunpowder, a bullet, and a shell casing for the type of ammo that you want to craft. There are 3 ways to obtain gunpowder in the long dark. You can either find the occasional tin of gunpowder while looting, craft your own at the ammo bench, or you can harvest ammo rounds for the gunpowder inside. If you're going to try and find gunpowder by looting, you're going to want to look in the industrial areas of Great Bear. Places like the Cinder Hills coal mine, maintenance yard, and Hibernia are good examples of this. Another place that is definitely worth checking is the Black Rock Penitentiary, which will have several tins of gunpowder spread throughout the location. But they can also be found in all stocked prepper caches and have a chance of being found in any safes across the island as well. Crafting your own gunpowder is going to be slightly more reliable, especially once you enter the late game. The recipe for gunpowder calls for 1 pack of dusting sulfur, 1 container of stump remover, and 2 charcoal. It can only be crafted at an ammunition workbench and will yield 1 tin, or 0.5 kilograms, of gunpowder. That's enough for 50 ammo rounds. These ingredients shouldn't be too hard to acquire. They spawn all over the island, with the stump remover tending to be in or around cabins and abandoned stores, and dusting sulfur typically being found around farm buildings and garages. A couple of both also spawn at the Blackrock Penitentiary as well. Even though they tend to be found in those described areas, they can also be found in other places as well. So I just recommend exploring and looting as you normally would while playing, and you'll definitely come across them naturally. The final ingredient is charcoal, which you will sometimes find while looting, but the best way to acquire it is to simply go up to any stove or fireplace and then select Take Charcoal. Whenever you light a fire, charcoal will begin to build up after the fire has been lit for over an hour, after which the charcoal will continue to build up until you collect it. This charcoal never goes away, and will continue to build up in the fireplace or stove that you're using over multiple fires. To collect this charcoal, just do the same thing that you did before and select Take Charcoal when interacting with the stove or fireplace that you have been using. The final way to get gunpowder is to harvest the round of ammo that you already have. I do not recommend doing this though. Not only are you just ripping apart a round to make another round, but you also aren't actually guaranteed to get the gunpowder when harvesting, due to your survivor's gunsmithing skill. At level 5, you'll be able to harvest bullets flawlessly and gain a casing, bullet, and gunpowder from it every time. But up until that point, you're risking losing a round and all of its components by harvesting one, making it an absolute last resort in regards to gaining gunpowder. In order to get bullets, you're gonna need to obtain scrap lead. The good news is that scrap lead is very easy to get. The bad news is that it's very inconvenient to transport. You can very rarely find scrap lead sitting around industrial areas of the island or in toolbox drawers. But the main way to get scrap lead is by harvesting car batteries, which you can find by checking the hoods of the broken down cars that you pass across Great Bear. There are also a few stashes of car batteries that contain about 5 batteries each in the Hangar and Forsaken Airfield, Hibernia Processing and Desolation Point, and inside the Blackrock Penitentiary. You may also find the occasional loose car battery near radio towers, radio stations, or industrial areas of the island as well. If you spend 30 minutes to harvest a car battery with a hacksaw, it'll yield 6 scrap lead. Once you're at a lit ammunition workbench forge, you can use that scrap lead to craft bullets. Each piece of scrap lead will craft 6 bullets, meaning that one car battery will provide enough scrap lead to make 36 bullets. Now, the inconvenient thing is transportation of these materials. A single car battery weighs a whopping 15 kilograms. You're probably going to be encumbered just carrying one battery. And if you aren't, you'll definitely be after the second unless you've dropped absolutely everything else that you have in your pack. The bright side here is that the scrap lead weighs way less, so you're far better off harvesting the battery and then traveling with the lead than trying to drag the entire battery to the workbench. Each piece of scrap lead is 0.25 kilograms, which may not seem like a lot, but you'll likely be wanting to bring larger amounts of this stuff at a time to your crafting spot, so it likely will end up being a slight issue to your carry weight. One car battery will give you 1.5 kilograms of scrap lead to carry, so just keep in mind how much room you'll need to free up in your pack when transporting this stuff. Finally, let's now talk about your bullet casings. You will occasionally find casings lying around Great Bear, or sometimes even from looting containers, but the primary way to obtain bullet casings is by collecting them from the very bullets that you shoot. Your different firearms will spit out their casings in different ways, the revolver being the easier one to keep track of. The revolver will drop all used casings onto the floor whenever you reload it, meaning that if you use 2 bullets and then reload it, it'll drop 2 casings on the ground. If you used up an entire cylinder before reloading, it'll drop 6 casings. So remember to look down and collect the casings whenever you reload your revolver. I usually collect all of them during the revolver's reload animation. As for the hunting rifle, you'll need to be a little bit more on top of collecting the casings, as the rifle will spit out the casing right after each shot. So whenever you take a shot with your rifle, make sure that you look down immediately after and grab that casing. Especially since rifle ammo is much rarer than revolver ammo, making each casing and each round more valuable. Sometimes though, you aren't going to have the luxury of grabbing the casing after each shot. For example, if you're being chased by a predator and need to reposition to safety, or the shot that you made didn't quite kill your prey and you need to get another shot off before it gets away from you. If that is the case, then simply follow your footsteps back to where you took the shot and follow the ground to find the missing casing. With that, you'll have all the pieces you need, and voila! You have officially created your very own ammo. There is just one final thing that we should talk about before we part ways today, and that is the Gunsmithing Skill. Just like every other skill in the game, it starts off at level 1 and caps off at level 5. This skill is arguably one of the least impactful ones in regards to the game as a whole, but it's incredibly impactful for our purposes today. This skill will only impact 2 things: the quality of the ammo that you craft, and the odds of successfully harvesting a bullet for its components. The former starts off at 20% quality at level 1, scaling to 100% at level 5. The latter starts off at 50% odds of a successful harvest at level 1, scaling to 100% at level 5. The harvesting one is self-explanatory, but the ammo quality isn't as straightforward. The quality of your ammo simply affects the odds of the bullet causing a misfire, with only 100% quality ammo guaranteeing no misfires. Now, I wasn't able to find any exact numbers on the rates of misfire depending on ammo quality, so we're actually going to do our first ever STARS lab, where I decide that if they're not going to do it, I will. My process here is a very simple one. I'm going to fire ammo at each condition under 100%, 20, 40, 60, and 80, 100 times each, and count the number of misfires. Then I'll do that 2 more times, and take the average of the number of misfires between the 3 trials as the chance of a misfire. I'll be doing that for both the revolver and rifle ammo to see if there's any difference. So let's head on over to the firing range just outside of the barn in Pleasant Valley and start shooting. After all of my shots, these were my results. As you can see, there is no drastic difference between rifle and revolver ammo, so I think it's safe to say that there's no difference in misfire rate between the 2 ammo types. Because of that, we're going to take the average across those 2 averages to further hone down our final estimated misfire chance. With that done, you're going to have about a 16.66% chance of a misfire when using 20% condition ammo, which is a pretty high number. To put that into perspective, if you use a revolver to help deter a charging wolf, you would have a roughly 1 in 5 chance of misfiring on the charging wolf, resulting in you most likely ending up in a struggle. The 40% condition ammo had a 9% chance of misfiring, far better than the 20% ammo, but still resulting in a misfire approximately 1/10 of the time. The reliability continues to increase drastically with the 60% ammo, which will only misfire approximately 4% of the time, or about once in every 20 bullets. Now, the 80% condition ammo was very interesting. Across all 600 bullets that I shot in this experiment, not a single 80% bullet resulted in a misfire. There are 2 ways to interpret this. Either there's a bug that will make it so you never misfire on 80% ammo, or the odds of a misfire are so astronomically low that you're only going to misfire once in every, let's say, 1,000 bullets. Either way, it seems to me that 80% ammunition is actually pretty reliable, and you won't need to worry too much about using it if you have some lying around. Finally, I do think it's worth mentioning that the Gunsmithing Skill is by far the easiest one to level up in the game. I'm about to go more into how the game functions in the background, so if you feel like that would spoil the mystery or magic of the game for you, then just use the video chapters below to skip past this to the outro. For those of you who don't know, the skills in the Long Dark level up using skill points, with certain actions providing a certain number of skill points to your survivor. To reach level 5 gunsmithing, you only need 100 skill points, which might sound like a lot, but just wait. Just one gunsmithing research book gives you 10 skill points, which is already 1/10 of your progress towards level 5. Other things like crafting gunpowder also give your survivor a point, but you won't be doing a whole lot of that, so it's not really reliable for leveling up. For each piece of scrap lead that you turn into 6 bullets, you'll gain a skill point for that as well. And you'll be doing a pretty decent amount of that, but it does take an hour for each craft, so it might take a while if you use only that to level up. The real kicker here is creating the ammo itself. Each individual round that you craft will get your survivor 1 skill point, and it only takes 5 minutes to craft each round. So, you can get 12 skill points per hour if you have enough bullets, casings, and gunpowder to just sit down and craft. Because of this, you can easily level up to max gunsmithing in just 1 crafting session with enough preparation. Plus, if you want to add a little bit of cheese to the mix, you can craft all the ammo you need to get to level 5, and then just harvest all of the non-100% condition rounds with your new 100% harvest chance, and then remake the ammo in perfect condition to avoid having to deal with any misfire chances at all. It is truly the easiest skill to cheese in order to avoid any of the negative effects of lower levels. Alrighty guys, that's everything that you'll need to know to be a master at crafting ammunition in the Long Dark. Before we say goodbye, I do want to give a quick update to our streaming and upload schedule. With me being back in college, I'm going to be shifting to an every other week upload goal instead of weekly, so keep in mind that uploads are going to be a little bit less frequent, and if I miss an upload, I'm still trying my best to get stuff to you guys. For streaming, I still stream every Saturday at noon Mountain Standard Time, but for now, I won't be having any other consistent stream days during the week. I will be moving into a better living space for streaming soon though, so if I'm able to get another streaming day in for you guys, I'll make sure to let you know, so keep an eye out on the community tab of my channel page or in the Discord for any updates. I'll link the Discord down in the description of the video. If you enjoyed this video, then consider dropping a like as it really helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to see more, then grab the nearest fish and slap that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.